स्मृतापि तरुणातपं करुणया हरन्तीनृणाम् अभङ्गुरतनुत्पुषां वलयिता शतैर्विद्युतां कलिन्दगिरिनन्दिनी तटसुरद्रुमालम्बिनी मदीयमतिचुम्बिनी भवतु कापि कादम्बिनी. So we looked at the four varieties of kavyam. The fourth variety is chaturtham kavyam udaharati. Tatra mitrarthi mitra atriputra netraya trayi shatrava shatrave gotrajatraya gotratre te namo namaha. Atra arthachamatkritihi shabdachamatkritau leena. So Shabda Chamatkriti alone is Pradhanatvena Tatra Bhasate. So your Artha Chamatkriti completely merges with the Shabda beauty in the letters there. So Yadyapi Artha Chamatkriti Samanya Shunya Shabda Chamatkriti Tat Panchamam Adhamadhamam अपि काव्यविधासु गणयितुम् उचितं यथा एकाक्षर पद्यार्ध वृत्ति यमक पद्म बन्धादि. Even though there can be a fifth category of adhamadhama wherein there is an ekakshara shloka or yamaka ardha padya ardha vritti yamakam, these are all different padma bandha naga bandha, these are different kinds of shabdamatra pradhanam tatra arthastu na pradhanam eva iti. There can be a possibility of a fifth category which is adhamadhama, but the very premise of my kavya lakshanam is lost. This is the stance of Jagannatha Pandita, where he says tathapi ramaniyartha pratipadaka shabdata rupa kavya samanya lakshana anakrantataya, because it does not come within the kavya lakshana, wherein my kavya lakshana definition is ramaniya artha pratipadaka shabdaha. That itself is lost here. So vastutaha kavyatva abhavena, there is no kavyatvam at all in such shlokas. But there have been Mahakavis who have done it. Prachina paramparam anurundhanaihi Mahakavibihi tatra tatra kavyeshu nibaddham iti api na asmabihi ganitam. But I do not consider it as a kavyam at all. Abdinutu, he just completely ignores that section of kavyas. Now he moves on to how there are these four Vedas, and Kavya Prakashakara or anybody other like Chitramimamsa, the most popular divisions of Kavyas is three: Uttama, Madhyama, and Adhama. So Kechit Imanapi Chaturaha Bhedan Aganayantaha. There are some people who do not think Aganayantaha, they do not even consider these four divisions, and they give only three divisions, which is Uttama, Madhyama, and Adhama Bhavena Trividham Eva Iti Kavyam Achakshate. So they say that Kavya is only of three types: Uttama, Madhyama, and Adhama Bhavena Trividham Eva Kavyam Achakshate. Achakshate Vadanti Kathayanti iti. Tatra Arthachitra Shabdachitrayoho Avisheshena Adhamatvam Ayuktam Vaktum. It is when Kavya Prakashakara divides three categories, he says Uttama, Madhyama, and Adhama. For Adhama, he says there are two types of Adhama Kavyam, which is Arthachitram and the other one is Shabdachitram. You cannot club those two together and put it as Adhama Kavyam. Tatra Arthachitra Shabdachitrayoho Abhisheshena, without any distinction. Adhamatvam Ayuktam, it is not right. Na uchitam. It is not right, appropriate to say that these two are clubbed together and put in the category of adhama. Why? Taratamyasya sputam upalabdehe. There is definitely a difference. Taratama. Tarattamapoho bhavaha taratamyam. So tarapnale, the tarap pratyaya is used for comparative. Tamap pratyaya is used for superlative. So the bhava of those two, using this is better, this is best, ityadi taratamyam. So there is actually a difference in the quality of those two shlokas. Sputam upalabdehe, it is very clearly known. Upalabdhi jnanam. Nyayate eva tatra. Kaha hi evam sahridayaha sanna Vinirgatam Manadam Atma Mandirat, Satchinnamulaha Kshatajena Renuhu, Ityadibihi Kabyehi, Swachandochala Dityadinam, Pamarashlaghyanam Avishesham Bruyat. So Kaha Sahridayaha Sanna, Kaha evam sahridayah sanna. Evam ityukte Jagannatha Paṇḍitavat. So anybody who is like me, who understands, who is a true Sahridaya, Sahridaya's son, if he is a Sahridaya, then Katham, how is it possible for him to club the Artha Chitra Kavyam and the Shabda Chitra Kavyam and say that there is no difference between the two? If you look at Dhanyaloka, he does not give the divisions of Uttama Kavya, Madhyama Kavya and Adhama Kavya at all. He just talks about Dhvani. What is Dhvani? And then goes on to the divisions of Dhvani. He does not dwell into whether this is a better Kavyam or not. It is Sahridaya Hridaya Vedyam Ityeva. As Sahridaya has to understand it. And Jagannatha Pandita being a Sahridaya, he understands that you have to have 4 different types here. Okay. Let's look at the 3 shlokas that are mentioned here. I know you have read it in Kavya Prakasham also. Just quickly we'll go over that. So, Vinirgatam Manadam Atma Mandirat Bhavatyupashrutya Yadrichaya api sanna Sasambhrama Indra Druta Patita Argala Nimilitakshi Iva Bhiya Amaravati. So, Vinirgatam Manadam Atma Mandirat. Manadaha Atma Mandirat Vinirgatam Tam Upashrutya. So as soon as Amaravati heard, Amaravati is the city of Devas. When they heard that Hayagriva Asuraha has left from his Mandiram, Atma Mandirat, from his house, he has come out. Iti Upashrutya, just by the hearing the news of that, Yadrichaya api, even it is not because he wants to go and attack the Devas that he is coming with an army, well, with Kavacha Kundala, Kavacham Mella potent, Kedayam Vala, Adi, Abdi, Varla, he is not well equipped with weapons and he is coming out. Casually, he is just coming out for a walk, probably. So, Yadrichaya api, even if he is stepping out of his palace, just by out of accident, Tathapi, Sasambrama Indra Druta Patita Argala Nimilitakshi Iva Bhiya Amaravati. Amaravati seems to have closed her eyes immediately out of fear because Indra quickly closes the doors of Amaravati, town doors, and Patita Argala. Argala, the wooden bar stopper. So he just completely puts that stopper so that he cannot come in at all, as if out of fear. So atra tu utpreksha alankaraha vartate yataha Amaravati tu patita argala tu nimilitakshi iva vartate bhiya. The city cannot achetana vastunaha tu tatra chetanatvam na vidyate. You cannot have a chetanatvam for an achetana vastu. Amaravati is the city, and the closing of the doors of Amaravati seems to be like closing of the eyes of Amaravati. We are fancying that Amaravati city has eyes and it is closing out of fear. So it cannot have fear. It is only the people who are afraid and the people who are closing the doors of the city. That's all. So this is an Utpreksha Alankara. This is Artha Chitram. The next, this shloka has been given as an example by Mammata in his Kavya Prakasha. The second one, Satchinnamulaha Kshatajena Renuhu, is given as an example for Artha Chitram by Appaya Dikshita in his Chitramimamsa. Okay. So, Satchinnamulaha Kshatajena Renuhu, the second part of that is here, Tasyoparishtat Pavanavadutaha Angara Sheshasya Hutashanasya Purvothitaha Dhumaiva Ababhase. Satchinnamulaha Renuhu. He is talking about the dust that comes in a battlefield. So, Yuddhabhumihi Vartate. Tatra, there are so many armies that are fighting together, and Renu or Dhushi, the Dhuli, the dust of columns of dust are climbing up in the air. So Renuhu, what happens to that Renu? Tasya uparishtat pavana avadhutaha. It is uparishtat, in the top portion, it is being blown by the pavana, by the wind. But Mula, so the first thing is they both are fighting, the armies are fighting. Then you have columns of dust which is climbing up. As it is climbing up, people, when they hit each other, the dust starts climbing up. But then momentarily, they kill each other and blood flows. So as the blood flows, the dhuli completely settles down in that blood. நம்ம வாச தெளிக்கிறச்சு தண்ணி தெளிக்கிறோம் வாசல்ல அப்படின்னு தூசி மேல கிளம்பப்படாதுங்கிறதுக்காக தானே நம்ம தண்ணி தெளிக்கிறது வாசல்ல. இன்னைக்கு வேற. In those days in villages, the roads were all muddy. So if you didn't want the dust to come and settle in your eyes and everything, you first sprinkle water and then you do your rangoli. Yeah. So in the same way here also you have to think of it in that manner. The dust starts as two sides of the army clash. The moment the dust starts rising, its base is completely cut off because blood flows and makes it wet and the dust goes and settles down in the ground. So what happens to the dust? Kshatajena. Kshata is wounded and the blood that comes out of the wound is called kshatat jayate iti rudhiram. So the blood that comes out of being wounded. So kshatajena, because of the blood, renuhu chinna moolaha, its moolam or roots is completely cut out. So as the dust rises, the support should be there on the ground, but the support is not there on the ground because everything starts settling down to the ground. So which means there is a gap in the moolam portion. So chinna moolaha, it is as if the root of that renu patalam is completely cut off. The uparishtat pavana avadhutaha, the top portion of it is being blown by the wind. How does that portion look like? It looks like angara sheshasya hutashanasya purvathitaha dhuma iva ababhase. Agnihi vartate. When that hutashana is completely dying down and you have only red coals, angara sheshasya hutashanasya. So hutashana, agni, which is just remaining as coal beneath. So what happens to the smoke? It doesn't seem to have that connection with the coal at all because you don't see the fire in between. So chinna moolaha. There is no moolam there and you see only the smoke from one point on top. So purva utthitaha dhumaha, smoke which has already risen from the agni, suddenly the agni has died down. See, ஊதுவத்தியை வச்சுட்டு தூப் இருக்கு இல்லையா, when you have an agarbatti and you try to first light it, you have the agni and then you remove the agni, it is just a shesha. It seems as if the dhuma is for a second it will be separated from the agarbatti. It will not even be connected to the agarbatti for the first second. Then it will start smoking from the agarbatti. So you have to imagine that he is thinking of that renu in that manner. So angara sheshasya hutashanasya, hutashana or agni which is now reduced to just coals, but purvottitaha dhumaha yata ababase, the smoke which had already risen is just shining beautifully. In that manner this renu is being blown by wind in the top portion and its roots is completely cut out by rudhiram. This is also another utpreksha here, arthalankaraha. Okay. Now, ityadibihi kavyaihi. Now, these two are examples of artha chitram by both Kavya Prakasha Mammata and Chitramimamsakara Ape Dikshita. Ityadibihi kavyaihi saha. With these two, how can you compare a shloka like Swachandochalat, which is a Shabda Chitra example given by Mammata? Ityadinam pamarashlagyanam. It is a poetry that will only be praised by people who do not know the value of true poetry. Pamaraha ityukte adnyaha, one who does not understand the finesse of art. So pamaraihi eva shlagyanam artha, the shabda chitranam kavyanam abhishesham bruyat. How can they say a non-difference between shlokas which are only praised by people who don't understand the value and people who understand that this has a very beautiful alankara? This is definitely better than Swachandochalat. And the shlokam pathomna quick-a pannidren. Swachandochalat अच्छकच्छ कुहर छाते तरांबु छटा मूर्छन मोह महर्षि हर्ष विहित स्नानान्निकाय अन्हाय वह भिद्याद उद्यद उदार दर्दुर दरी दीर्घा दरिद्र द्रुम द्रोहोद्रेक महोर्मि मेदुर मदा मंदाकिनी मंदता. Mandakini Vaha Anhaya quickly. Anhaya is there in the second line, end of second line. Anhaya quickly, Sampratam, Shigrameva, Vaha Yushmakam, Mandatam, Mandabuddhitam, your ignorance or your dull-headedness, Mandakini should remove. And who is this Mandakini? Sarvam tu tatra Mandakinyaha Visheshanataya Uktam. So how is she? Swachanda Uchalat Acha Kacha Kuhara Chata Itara Ambu Chata Murchan Moha Maharshi Harsha Vita Snananika. The rishis are all doing a snanam, anhika snanam, that is, they do a madhyanika snanam in Ganga. So when they are doing the harsha vihita, out of their happiness, happily they are doing snanam in this Ganga. Ganga is moha. She is creating a delusion in their mind because they are completely mesmerized by the flow of Ganga. So Murchan moha, she is trying to lose the consciousness of the rishis because of her flow. Chata, Ambut Chata is the flow of her water, which is Chata Itara. Chata is slow, whereas Chata Itara is harsh. By her harsh slow flow, which flows in the kuhara, in the small whirlpools that are near the clear kacham, near the clear banks of Ganga, as she flows very freely. If we look at it, it's even more but we only want the Shabda Chitram here. Adnala quick poram. Okay. Mandatam bhidyat, let her remove your mandata, dullness. Udyad udara dardura dari dirgha daridra drumadroho dreka mahormi medura mada. Mada, she seems to be having a madam, that is garva, because she is medura. She's pushti yukta astisa because of her waves that are coming, and it is capable of pulling down trees here. Okay, and the noise of the waves are also being extended by the dari, the guha or the caves that are there in the sides. Okay, so in this there is nothing great about this shloka. If you look at it, there is only the anuprasam that is more beautiful, but otherwise there is nothing in the shloka as such. Satyapi taratamye. Now we go back to the text here. So who can put both of these into the same category? Satyapi taratamye yadi ekabedatvam kastarhi dhvani guni bhutabhyangayoho ishadantarayoho vibhinna vedatve duragraha. See, the difference between Artha Chitram and Shabda Chitram is very little. Alpayeva bhedaha tatra vartate. Taratamye satyapi, even though there is so much of a difference that Jagannatha Pandita can see, still if you want to club Artha Chitra and Shabda Chitram together, because there is only a slight difference, because this has Artha Chitram, this has Shabda Chitram, why not? If you are able to put those two together, then what is stopping you from putting Dhvani and Guni Bhuta Vyangyam into one category? Why should you have two different categories for those two? There is also a very slight difference only between the two of them. Dhvani is Vyangya Pradhanyam, Guni Bhutam is Vyangyam tu Apradhanam. That's all there is. So Dhvani Guni Bhuta Vyangyayoho, Ishadantarayoho. Dhvani and Guni Bhuta Vyangya have only a slight difference. Vibhinna Bhedatve, Duragraha. Why are you so bent upon putting those two into two different categories? Vibhinna Bhedaha. Iti Kimartham Tatra Duragraha na Rumba or Pudicha Pudin Artham. ஒரு ஆக்ரகம் பண்றோம் இல்லையா? Why are you so hell bent on doing this-ங்கற மாதிரி. यत्र च शब्दार्थ चमत्कृत्योः ऐकाधिकरण्यं तत्र तयोः गुणप्रधान भावं पर्यालोच्य यथालक्षणं व्यवहर्तव्यम्. So then how do we decide between Shabda Chamatkriti, Artha Chamatkriti? Where do we put it? Do we put it under your Uttamottama, Madhyama Lakshanam, or Uttama Kavya Lakshanam, or Adhama Kavya Lakshanam? See, given that Artha Chitram and Shabda Chitram are Adhama Kavyas. According to Jagannatha Pandita, when would he put a shloka into the category of Madhyama Kavyam, and when would he put it into the category of Adhama Kavyam? He has to be clear on giving rules for how to differentiate between the two. So, yatra cha shabda artha chamatkrityoho aikadhikaranyam, tatra, wherever you find that there is a beauty in the words also, there is a beauty in the artha also. So, shabda chamatkritihi api vartate, artha chamatkritihi api vartate, ubhayorapi tatra satyoho, when both are present, tatra tayoho gunapradhana bhavam paryalochya. You have to look at whether the artha chamatkritihi tu pradhana va, athava tatra shabda chamatkritihi pradhanatvena bhasate va, iti tatra paryalochya. You have to examine those two, and yatha lakshanam vyavahartavyam. If the artha chamatkriti is more, then put it in the madhyama kavya. If the shabda chamatkriti is more, put it in the adhama kavya. You have to try to do something like that. Samapradhanye tu, when there is a samapradhanyam, you do madhyamata eva, but you should put it in madhyama kavyam eva. Sorry. So here, shabda chamatkriti and artha chamatkriti, between these two, when the artha chamatkriti is pradhana, like artha chitram, then you put it in the adhama kavyam. If the shabda chamatkriti is more, then it is not at all a kavyam according to our Jagannatha Pandita. So it has to go into the fifth category, ideally. Right? So there is no point in writing such a shloka at all. He does not even say that you can write this and put it in a category. Whereas if both are equal, if both artha chamatkriti and shabda chamatkriti are equal, samapradhanye tu madhyama kavyam eva. And he gives an example here. The example is in some notes and in one of the Vyakhyanas and all, they have said that the shloka is from Surya Shatakam. But this is not from Surya Shatakam. It is from Sudha Lahari, which is a stotram written by Jagannatha Pandita himself on Surya. So Surya Bhagavan, he has written a stotram called Sudha Lahari, which is about 30 shlokas or so, and this is the first shloka in that. Because in Rasagangadhara, he has not taken an example from elsewhere at all. He has only used his own examples, or he has composed for this particular case. So this is an example from Sudha Lahari. It is not from Surya Shatakam. Because everybody, if they see a long Sraddhara shlokam, they think it is from Surya Shatakam. It's not. There are some beautiful shlokas there, but that's different. Ullasaf pulla pankeruha patala patan matta pushpandhayanam nistara shoka davanala vikala hridam koka simantininam utpatas tamasanam upahata mahasam chakshusham pakshapataha sanghatah kopi dhamnam ayam udayagiri prantataha pradurasit. Dhamnam sanghataha kopi sanghataha ayam udayagiri prantataha pradurasit. So this group sanghataha, this group of dhama is prakasham. Prakashanam sanghataha eva atra udayagiri prantataha pradurasit. Near the rising mountain Udayagiri, there is this one ball of prakasha, one group of prakasha, some anirvachaniyam, kopi sangataha ityeva. You cannot describe the beauty of Surya there. So dhamnam prakashanam sanghataha, kopi sangataha, anirvachaniyaha sangataha tu pradurasit. It has come up near the Udayagiri. What is that punjam? What is that dhama punjam? It is the ananda of bees. Because the lotuses, immediately as soon as the sun rises, lotuses are going to bloom, either it is an invitation for all the bees to come and take madhu and be very happy, or if the bee has already been trapped inside the adena koshagate durephe bhaswan udeshyati hasishyati pankajashri ratrir gamishyati bhavishyati suprabhatam bhaswan udeshyati hasishyati pankajashri. The night will go, the sun will rise, ratrir gamishyati bhavishyati suprabhatam, it will become morning. Bhaswan udeshyati, the sun will rise. Hasishyati pankajashri, the lotus will bloom. Itham vichintayati kosha gate dvirephe. A bee at night time or evening time, it thinks in this manner before the lotus closes. It says, all night I can keep drinking that nectar. Itham vichintayati koshagate dvirepe. This bee goes and gets trapped into the lotus. But it keeps thinking that no problem. All night I will drink, in the morning it will bloom, and then I will be released. I will, it will feel happy. Ha hanta hanta nalinim gaja ujjahara. Ayyo, ennaachunna, an elephant came and ate that lotus. Vidhehe parinamaha. Vidhi eva baliyasi ngiradhukku is a beautiful shloka. So either the bee went in at night itself during the evening time, and so as soon as the sun rises, this prakasha punja is like an ananda for the brahmaras. So pulla pankeruha patala patan matta pushpandayanam ullasaha. It is the ullasa or ananda for pushpandhaya. Pushpandhaya is a brahmaraha for the bees which are matta, which are completely intoxicated after patan, having fallen into the pankeruha patala, into the lotus group of lotuses which have pulla, which have blossomed. Okay, so pulla அப்படியே மலர்ந்திருக்கக்கூடிய தாமரை கூட்டம் பட்டலம், அதில் பதன்னு விழுகின்ற அப்படி எடுத்துக்கணும். அப்படியே மதம் கொண்ட அந்த வண்டுகளுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய உல்லாசமா இருக்கா அந்த பிரகாசம். இந்த பெரிய ஸ்லோகம் வர்றச்சு அப்படியே தமிழ் வந்தாதான் அது கொஞ்சம் அழகா ஃபிட் ஆற மாதிரி இருக்கும். சோக தாவானல விகல ஹிருதாம் கோக சீமந்தினீனாம் நிஸ்தாரஹ. Koka iti chakravaka pakshi. So these chakravaka birds are supposed to be separated from their beloveds during night time because they are night blind. So they don't have the sight during night. Even if they are on either side of the lotus, they will keep on shouting because they cannot see their beloved. So they are usually separated and virahi during the night time. So koka seemantininam, these chakravaka birds, the female chakravaka birds, are constantly, their hridayam, hrit is vikala. It is completely lost the sense of thinking. Vikala indriya shakti illan artham. They do not have that indriya shakti because of the shoka davanala. Shoka, grief is like a fire which is inside and it is making their hridayam not think or function at all. Even though this is something they have been going through every day, every night. Still, at night when they are separated from their beloved, they are unable to think logically at all. They can't think that it is, oh, the sun is going to come and all that. So, shokana davanala vikala hridam koka seemantininam nistaraha. Nistaraha, he is like the relief for them. Nistaraha, artham. Tasam koka seemant ashwasana vidhanat nistaraha shoka sagara parangamanam tat sampadakaha. Nistara, tarayati irkolyo. It's like it is making them cross that ocean of grief. See, shoka is like a davanala. It is like the agni which is there, davagni which is present inside the ocean. And idu madri. அது என்ன சொல்லுவோம், ஒரு தாவாக்னிங்கிறது it keeps the samudram in check. It is a fire that is constantly vadavagni. It is a Vadavagni that is constantly being keeping the in check, the Samudram in check. It is a fire inside the ocean. So Nistaraha, for them to cross this shokam, cross this grief, this Surya's rays are like a Nistara. It is like a boat that lets them cross the ocean of grief. Utpataha tamasanam upahata mahasam chakshusham pakshapataha. Tamasanam utpataha. It is like a calamity for all types of andhakara. So tamasa guna yuktanam api jananam. For people who are overcome by tamoguna during night. That is why we sleep. That is why we get into all sorts of desires. Bahudoshahi sharvarim. Mrichakatikatla, there is a statement where he says, Bahudoshahi sharvari. Sharvari is night time. Night is a time for a lot of doshas. Because you think, oh, nobody is going to see us. But there are 10 people who are constantly watching us. We cannot deny. It's also our manasakshi. Sakshi bhuta chaitanyam, which is also constantly keeping us in check. So tamas is always an inspiring of tamoguna in people. So it inspires tamogunam in people. Tamasanam utpataha. The Surya Punjam, Surya Prakasha Punjam, or the group of Prakasha is like an utpata or a calamity. It's like a comet. So when you see a comet, it shows that there is going to be a disaster in the world, is a popular belief, right? So utpata is any kind of calamity. It is like a calamity for the tamas or the tamoguna jana, because immediately their tamogunam will be completely removed and activity will be there in the people's body. Upahata mahasam chakshusham pakshapataha. For the eyes, it is like a pakshapata. Pakshapata, it is very favorable towards the eyes which are, whose mahas, whose prakasha is upahatam, obstructed. So during night, the light of the eyes is completely obstructed, whereas Surya gives, he is very favorable to those eyes which are, whose light is completely obstructed because of night. It is also that Surya is the eye of the world. Jagataha chakshuhu iti. Ekan jyotihi drishodve. That he is of two types. Antas chakshuhu api sayeva. Antara chakshuhu, bahis chakshuhu api sayeva. Abdimba. வெளியில நமக்கு கண்காமிக்கிறதும் அவர்தான். உள்ளுக்குள்ள சூரிய மண்டலே ஆதித்யா வர்த்ததே இது உபாசனா ரூபேண சயேவ அந்தர சக்ஷுஹு அப்படி வர்த்ததே. அவர்தான். அது அந்த சூரிய சதகம் படிக்கணும் லைஃப்ல. அது ஒண்ணு மாத்திரம் பாருங்க, அப்படியே your view of the sun itself will change because of that. அவ்வளவு பியூட்டிஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். So koapi, so anirvachaniyaha yeshah. Keshanchana ullasa rupattvena vartate, keshanchana tu nistara rupena vartate. So for some it is an ananda, for some it is an utpata, it is a calamity, for some it is like a pakshapata, that is, it is favorable to them. So for some it helps them cross something. So the same Surya Prakasha is being superimposed and called as different things. So it is a rupaka here. Ullasatvena aropaha, nistaratvena aropaha, utpatatvena aropaha, pakshapatatvena aropaha. So there are so many aropas that are going on here. So that is one. But if you look at the other alankara here, it is called hetu alankara. The definition of hetu alankara is abhedena abhida hetuhu hetoho hetumata saha. Hetuhu hetuman. Hetuhu is the karanam. Hetuman becomes the karyam. So karanam is the sanghataha, dhamnam sanghataha. Surya prakashaha eva atra karanam. But it is being said in a non-different manner. That is, it is, what do we think of the Surya? Surya is Ananda. Iti vadamaha. Tatra Surya prakashaha eva ullasaha. Prakashaha eva utpataha. Iti vadamaha. The description here is such that we are saying it is prakasha, kanti, that is Anandam. No, the kanti creates Ananda in Brahmara. which means Kanti is the Karanam, Ananda becomes the Karyam. But you are saying that Kanti is Anandam, which means you are saying Hetu and Karyam are the same. So it is called Hetu Alankara. So you have Rupaka Alankara, you also have Hetu Alankara. There is also Anuprasa here. Okay. So that is what he says. Atra vritti anuprasa. There is vritti anuprasa, repetition of letters in each shloka, each line. Vritti anuprasa prachuryat. Next is ojo guna prakashakatvat cha. What is ojo gunas? Ojaha, prasadaha, and madhuryam. These are three kinds of gunas, main gunas, principal gunas. If you look at ojas, it is samasa bhuyastvam. There should be a lot of long samasas here. So we have that right in the first line itself. Pulla panke ruhabhatala patan manta pushpandhayanam shoka davana lavikala hridam. So these are all big samasta padas that are there. So samasa bhuyastvam is ojo gunaha. Madhuryam is sweetness. So that we will see during other places. Prasada guna yogat api. What is prasada gunam? Even though it has samasa bhuyastvam, still the artham is very clear. Prasadaha ityukte padashrutehe artha avagatihi. The moment I hear the words, I should be able to understand the meaning, which means there is a clarity in understanding. If there is a clarity in understanding, then the guna that is present in that padyam is called prasadaha. Bhagavanudaya prasadamna enna? His mind is very clear, and so whatever we think about, he will immediately grant us. So prasada means clarity. So prasada guna yogat anantarameva adhikatasya rupakasya. It is only after that we understand the rupaka alankara, then we understand the hetva alankara asyava vachyasya. That is the vachyartha, that is the meaning here. Chamatkrityoho. So shabdasya chamatkritihi, vachyasya cha chamatkriti. So shabdasya chamatkritihi tu vritti anuprasaha ojo gunam. These two contribute to the beauty of the words. Prasada gunam and hetu alankara and rupaka alankara, these three contribute towards the artha chamatkriti. Both of these seems to hold a same value. So tulya skandhatvat. Skandamna shoulder na artham. Take the tras madri, like a tula, both seem to be seem to give an equal weightage to us in our mind. So tulya skandhatvat samameva pradhanyam. They have an equal pradhanata for both of them. Okay. So with this, he has shown us that if there is a samapradhanyam for artha chamatkriti and shabda chamatkriti, put that in the madhyama category. If the artha chamatkriti is more than shabda chamatkriti, then you put it in the adhama category. If the shabda chamatkriti is only if the shabda chamatkriti is pradhanam, then you have to put it in the adhama category only. There is an artha there, but if it is something like ekakshara, padma bandha, etc., it is not even considered as kavyam for me. That is Jagannatha Pandita's stance. Now he moves on to Rasadhvani in the next section. Okay, stop with this. Sandhayam irukka idu varaikkum? Is it clear?